Yo, what is going on, people? What is happening? It is Friday morning. It is the first Friday in October, so give yourselves a hand. This is the first Friday in October. Yeah, I'm looking at the calendar, right? Yeah, all right. Here we go. So the Wednesday was Yom Kippur. Shout out to everybody who celebrated Yom Kippur. But first, we're going to start off with a moment of silence for the PlayStation fanboys, because the gamers have vanquished them. You know, the management, we agreed with just providing games, and we will now have a moment of silence for the fanboys. Again, we're still here, but we're going to have a moment of silence for the fanboys. So starting now. And we are back again. Rest in peace, these Sony fanboys. If you want to pay respect to the fanboys, you can put an F in the chat for respect, and the F stands for fanboys. So, well, you know, moment of silence for them. I think they would do that. And but welcome. Let's go ahead and have a good old time today, as they used to say back in my day. Going to go ahead and tap the 40 and twist the cap, as the fanboys have been vanquished, finally. I was at work the other day. I was able to check Twitter on my phone every once in a while, and I saw nothing but these fanboys getting drugged. We got fanboys blocking, allegedly, let me make this clear. Fanboys are getting blocked left and right on Twitter. Well, I take that back. They weren't being blocked. They were blocking people. So again, you finally have your Death Star over Alderaan, and everybody knows what the Death Star did in episode 4 to Alderaan, right? It blew him up. So the fanboys are gone. So what does this mean long term? So these guys who built their channel on Console War, DOA. Now you got them talking about they're getting gaming PCs and gaming laptops and things like that. They're in shock that they plugged in their PlayStation cord or their PlayStation to their PlayStation gamepad to their PC, and it worked natively. There's some things you got to move around, but you know, Sony did that on purpose. If you don't know this, I'll break this to you now. Sony is going to have their own PC store. That's why they're expediting games to PC. Like, why are they moving these games to PC? Because they're going to have their own PC store. Like Epic has a store, like Steam has a store, and like Microsoft has a store. They're going to do the same thing. And so because there's untapped money there. So what they're going to do then, once they get their PC store up, the games that are these games, you know, they're going to put their games on there, and they're going to put other games on there. You know, they'll be in a bidding war with, you know, they'll be getting other games to come over and take a slice. So, so I'm excited about that. Now that's years down the road, but I'm letting you all know right now that's going to happen. So, so get ready for that. You know, but it's just there as this Axios article, which Axios is a spot on website, does mostly politics, but I found this on there. And for one thing, I'm glad that Herman Holtz and Sony came out and staked the direction that they were going. Because one of the things I thought it was a legitimate question is that people were like, well, what exactly is Sony doing in the future? Things like that. Okay, well, now we know. And they're going to wait to the end of the quarter to tell you. And they're not going to do what these fanboys are saying. As people are noticing, these fanboys are now, I mean, they're getting drugged. I saw it on Tuesday. I had to work Tuesday. Not Tuesday, I'm sorry. Was I off Tuesday? Yeah, I was off Tuesday. So all this stuff really comes down Wednesday, Thursday. And I saw the fanboys just getting drugged, saw that they were allegedly blocking people because they no longer have anything to talk about. All right. The console war actually ended, and I said this before. Console war actually ended when Microsoft stopped reporting how many consoles they sell. That was the end of the console war. Because when the person you're competing against is like, well, I'm not even going to tell you how many we're selling. That's crazy, but that's the end of the console war. That's it. So why is Microsoft doing what they're doing? It's because they can't go mano a mano with Japan. So they cannot go up against PlayStation and Nintendo. So they are going to create a service that just puts games into their service, and then they're going to charge people for, again, no ownership, which I disagree with, but I agree with ownership. If you don't, you don't. And they're going to start charging people more for that because they have to. There's a reason why the Xbox One S at Target, now I just left Target, the Xbox One S is $250. $250. And it comes with an extra controller. All right, now this is an all digital console. It comes with an extra controller. It maybe has enough space for 2 games on it. But my girl was actually looking at it like, she said, you know what? I may actually around the holiday come back and try to buy this. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, $250 plus an extra console stick or console gamepad. That's not a bad deal. And she likes playing those games anyway. Fall Guys. She likes playing stuff like that. So, which to me, I can't murder. What's the game? The Among Us. There's a murderer among us or something like that. She likes stuff like that. So, and this will allow her to kind of get into my hobby as well without getting too much into it. But the reason is that they got to get more people into Game Pass. That's their goal. I don't have an issue with what they're doing. I've said that 100,000 times. But I really do like what Sony's doing because it's enough pizza out there for every. It's like you go up to the picnic, you go up to the family picnic, and you got one of your uncles grilling dogs and burgers. You got another uncle doing chicken. You got another, you got somebody else doing, different, you got them doing different things. Somebody's doing a roast. Somebody's doing the grilled onions, stuff like that. It's not all on one grill. So Sony's business decision, and that's what it is. It's business at the end of the day. These fanboys take shit personal. And remember, I was personally saying, you fanboys need to shut up. Y'all need to shut up. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like I was telling them that like I knew this stuff was going to happen. Right? So the good news is they're not going day and date with all their games, which, even though Yoshida said that and and Herman Holtz has said that before, he said it last year. People got to understand that Twitter is not a real spot. It's not a real space. It's not real life. So it is imperative for Sony to do what Microsoft is doing because Microsoft is irrelevant. And this is about them trying to make Microsoft and Xbox relevant again. They're not. They don't report their console sales. You're not relevant. You a non-mother effing factor. But these fanboys wouldn't let it go. They kept, again, I don't know what that's like to actually build something and then see things moving away from it and then saying, no, you can't do this. But you can't do this, Sony. Why are you doing this? I've been loyal. I bought a Sony Walkman. I bought a Sony Discman. I bought the PS1 and the PS2, and I was in these forums and defending your honor in the forum like Sony told them to do that. It's just, man, you just need to shut the fuck up. Okay, so the fanboys are gone. All right, so if you like the game, if you like Sony's games, you like their ecosystem, I've got a poll up. Are you willing to wait one year, which is fine. I'm not mocking it. And this is a general question. You can leave a comment. Are you going to wait minimum 1 year to play these games? Minimum 1 year. Again, you have people saying that the best version will be on PC. In order for you to get this, I'm just going to tell you, you need at least a minimum. You need an 8-core CPU, AMD. You need an 8-core CPU. Don't get caught up. I mean, you can get a 6-core as long as you have a fast enough clock, something in the 5000 series, but I ain't going to do your homework for you. I ain't your daddy. You figure that shit out. You need bare minimum in AMD, you need at least a 6700 XT GPU. You need to write all this down. I mean, because I'm not saying not to do it. So I have a 6600 in mind. So I'm kind of right there. The 6700 does ray tracing much better than I keep forgetting my 6600 does ray tracing. You know, I keep getting this thing. You get these messages. You do realize I do ray tracing, like the GPU's telling you this, you know. And you will do ray tracing, and you'll probably be around, I don't know, 26 to 35 frames per second, give or take. You need 16 gigabytes of RAM, fast RAM. You need the M2 dot drive that Sony signed off on. I don't understand. Mark Cerny actually comes out and puts his name on these M2 dot drives. And these guys are thinking, well, why is Mark Cerny doing that? These M2s work in PCs. To me, the writing's been on the wall, but they've been too busy console warring. Okay? They went out and bought the extra, the extra M2 drive, or whatever you want to call this thing, that plugs into the back of their PlayStation. They bought that, okay? But what'd you do? Think it wasn't going to work on PC as well, you stupid ass? But see, you're a fanboy who's now dead. You're dead now, okay? Sony went to the Death Star. They blew your planet up. You know, ain't nothing out here but the gamers. And, you know, we are not going to tolerate your bullshit anymore. Like, not happening. What's happening, AB? Hope you're doing well. What's up, Paul? So this was already planned a long time ago. You had people telling you that the Decima engine doesn't work on PC. Meanwhile, the Decima engine was created on PC. How retarded are you? I mean, and then you say this to the people listening to you, and they become as dumbass as you do. The Decima engine won't work on PC. I mean, you got to be effing. Every engine that the PlayStation and the Xbox uses works on PC. They showed you the Unreal 5 engine. If it makes any difference, Gears of War, which is on PC, is on the Unreal Engine. Okay? It's on the Unreal Engine. That engine, the Crysis game that you play on your console, that's on PC. The Cry engine, it works. It works on PC. I mean, I've never heard anything like this before. You know, and so these fanboys thought that, and I've said before, Microsoft is buying publishers. And here's the thing they're doing that I don't particularly care for, but I understand it, right? I don't care for it, but I understand why they're doing it, right? They don't have a way to fight against Japan at all. Like, they can't do it. So they are buying publishers to try to weaken their competition. That's what they're doing. Okay? And I'm trying to tell people right now, this is, I told you, I was on 60 frames no lag. Shout out to Porter Rock. All Day Digital was on 60 frames no lag. And I said to him, these games as a service, which again, I'm not going to really play a whole lot of these games. If the members that are members to my channel want to play these games, that's fine. Am I going to just run out to the stores and get them? No, I'm not doing that. But these games as a service, I specifically asked All Day Digital. I said, I think these games as a service are going to be day and date on PC. Maybe not all of them, but the majority of them will be, you know. And All Day said, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen too. So shout out to All Day. I already said this was going to happen. Yet we got JTech saying that because Sony's doing this day and date thing with games as a service, like this, that's a big deal. No, that's the whole thing. You put them on. Why are they doing that? For maximum impact. I said they were going to do that. What are you talking about? Oh, if you don't know, he's the guy who said that Decima doesn't work on PC. And now I owe him an apology. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Shout out to JTech, but that ain't happening, player. You know, that ain't happening. When you make a statement like Decima won't work on PC, when you make a statement of I'm going to use my podcast to do everything I can to stop Sony from putting games on PC, yeah, nah, no apologies here, man. Shout out to J-Tech, though. No beef. No beef. But that is some cornball fanboy shit. And you the one that got drugged on Twitter. Bad. Like, real bad. I saw it. I felt sorry for you. So, and again, Twitter ain't a real place, so I get it, you know, but yeah, these fanboys, man, they don't get it. They just don't get it, right? So, but we now know what Sony's doing. So if you want to, so back to the PC build, your power source needs to be at least 800 watts. Write this stuff down. So where are we at? 5,000, 8 core. Maybe you can get away with 6 cores at the 5,000 Ryzen level, but I recommend the 8 core because that's what your PlayStation has in it. You need a bare minimum 6700 XT to 6800 XT in AMD, which puts you at about a 3060 to 3070, give or take, in NVIDIA. I'm still not, shout out to Slow-Mo. He was talking about the Intel stuff. We got to wait for he said, wait for the drivers to mature. I recommend you listen to Slow-Mo on that one. I am. Shout out to Slow-Mo on that one. Slow backslap on that one. Shout out to him. So that if you want to go the Intel route, that's what you're going to have to do. That's if you want to wait 1 year. Now now you're going to have to get a monitor. All right. So you need to understand Sony is supporting widescreen monitors. So is Microsoft, to be fair. So are you going to get a widescreen monitor? Or are you going to go with a regular monitor? Okay, if you go widescreen, my friend, I say you're going to be looking at about minimum $499. That's for a 4K wide monitor. Now you might be able to find one cheaper. You may say, well, Craig, I'm just going to get a flat screen TV. Fair enough. You want a flat screen TV, you're looking at about $1,100. You might be able to get it for $7 something around the holidays. So again, I'm trying to help you out here. You looking at right now, based on what I said, you're looking at about $2,200. That's with your TV. You can bring it down to about $1,500 with a monitor, your choice. This is if you want to wait, which if that's what you want to do, I'm not here to tell you not to do it. You're a consumer, you're a customer. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. What's up, Ghost in the Garage? So, but this was going to happen. This was predicted to happen. And everybody was telling you, fanboys, get off the beach. Okay? Get off of Alderaan. The Death Star's coming. It's coming for your ass. And you stayed on the planet. You kept console warring. Even though you got cats, shout out to my man 50 Grand Hip Hop Gamer, who told you that this was a generation of remakes and remasters, and this is a black man that's got his foot in the business. Didn't want to listen to him. And you don't know the difference between a remaster and a remake. And then you spew your bullshit all over your audience, and then your audience goes out there and gets drugged. I mean, that's what's happening. Your stupid ass made your audience stupid, and now you got stupid people looking for leadership. Well, I am here to tell you the Messiah is here to lead you. Just as I led the Xbox community, I will now lead the PlayStation community because I've been right about everything. I've been right. I dare somebody to prove me wrong. I'll have a smoke show probably. I'm going to have it next week. I'm going to have a smoke show. It's going to be on StreamYards. I will drop the link. So I'm giving you all fair warning. You know, I want all the smoke. So I want it all. Whatever you kids call it, whatever, I want it all. Okay? Because I'm the one that told you these games as a service was going to go day and date on PC. Guess what? That's exactly what they're doing. So again, I don't care because I don't play those games. But it's one more tool that Sony took away from these fanboys, and they're pissed off. They're pissed. I mean, did you hear the damage control on Wednesday? It was epic. They could have built Noah's Ark for Noah. It was so much damage control going on. You know, they could have saved the Titanic with their damage control. Like, oh man, the Titanic hit an iceberg. Let's get these Sony fanboys, and they'll start repairing the ship with their horse shit that they've been talking. So it just, You know, it's silly. You know, they're dumb. You're not, but we're here for them too. You know, I get it. You got lied to. People tried to tell you. We tried to tell you this was gonna happen. Okay, we tried to tell you it's gonna happen. And I nobody. If you're upset, then be upset. But you're not gonna do nothing about it because you ain't got the stones to do it. You're not gonna take your PlayStation and trade it in. You're gonna complain like a homosexual. You're gonna complain. You're complaining right now. You probably woke up, started complaining. You know, I mean, you know, did you not know that Sony? I can plug in my PS5 controller to my PC, and boop, boop, it picks right up. I can actually change the colors on it. Like your color will stay, was it like that yellow or blue color? Like it turns what? It turns yellow when it's charging. Let me get it straight. It turns blue when it's on and it's completely charged, and then it turns red when it's almost dead, right? I think it's red, it's almost dead, something like that. On a PC, you can program that to change this to be all, it could be green, yellow, blue, red, pink, purple. You can do all that already on PC. I mean, you just go to the program, you download it, and it does it. So, Raimi Yave said, here's a prediction. Call of Duty goes to Xbox, Sony gets Battlefield. Already said that was going to happen. And again, it's not that Battlefield will be only on Xbox or only on PlayStation. The marketing will move to PlayStation for the people who play those type of games. Again, I played Battlefield 3 and 4. I had a good time with. I played them on PC, and just to me, those type of games, I like playing on PC. If I'm going to play that, the Division, like I had the Division Part 2, ain't nobody playing it on PlayStation. I've got that game. I bought that game to play with my friends and put on my headset and call into B2, and I ain't got nothing. I mean, nobody's playing. Nobody wants to play with me. Maybe I'm too toxic. Maybe I'm just too real. Maybe my dick is too big for them to deal with. I don't know. I just know nobody wants to play with me. You know, so, but I have the game. So, what's up, CRU? Was it Predator Hunting Grounds day and date on PC? Yes, and Sony doesn't own that game. So, Seafood, wasn't it day and date on PC? I wasn't it? Or wasn't it? It was digital, but us guys who are physical collectors, we like, come on, make a physical, and they did. Same with Kena Bridge of Spirits. I think it came out, it was only digital when it first hit, and then a few months later, it got a physical copy. So again, I understand as a physical collector of stuff that the way I buy things is going the way of the dodo bird. I'm not going to sit around and complain about it. I just have to. Now, instead of me waiting for something to go on sale, I have to go ahead and get it when it first comes out. So, but that's the cost I got to pay, right? Hey, Craig, if you want to keep mine physical, you're going to have to go and pay maybe a little bit more. You got to get it before it gets pulled off the shelf. That's my reality right now. So, what's up, King? King says that he got a gaming PC with a 3060. You all got an i7 or 2 gigs of RAM, and now you're contemplating if you're going to get Spoken on PC or for PS5. I'm getting Forspoken on both. If you're talking about Forspoken, Forspoken, yeah, I see what you did. Yeah, if when I bought my AMD GPU, it came with 3 games. It came with Forspoken. It came with that sniper game. I can't think of the name of it, Sniper something, and it came with another like platformer. I haven't, and it came with the code, and I put the code in, and as soon as Forspoken comes out, boom, I've got it. I'm good, but I'm gonna buy that on PlayStation first, you know, because I believe that Sony has bought Square Enix, so you'll jump on when Ubi is free. I think we could play it right now, but again, it's not a big deal. So it's not a big deal. So, let's see here. No, I have not. I have not taken anybody's mod away. I don't take your mods away because you make silly statements. I will make them if you can't back up what you're saying. If you're a mod and you say something stupid and you can't back it up, yeah, I will take it from you. So, but yeah, see, 4K looks dope on your OLED. Yeah, I mean, look, I've seen that. I am not gonna lie, man. I have seen that. Like I said, my neighbor has that C1, and he was playing Horizon Forbidden West on it. He got all the settings the way he wanted them. That game looks phenomenal. That's why the people that are upset about cross-gen, I'm like, this game is cross-gen, and it looks like this. I mean, can you imagine if they just did one that was only for PS5? You know, and there's the other one that's cross-gen. Isn't Gran Turismo 7 cross-gen? And I got people telling me Gran Turismo 7 is the best looking racing game they have ever played. And isn't it cross-gen? I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Shout out to Optimus Code. He's right. That can slow things down. I'm not here to say that that's not true. But, man, when you see games that look like that, I mean, are you really still that worried? I think you had a legitimate worry when you didn't know. But now you got proof of concept. And it's like, it's just not that big a deal. Maybe it's not as big a deal as we thought it was going to be. Okay? Maybe. Just maybe. So, yeah, the B2 came out and blew up the ponies. I'm saying they got Death Star, but yeah, the B2 got you, you know. And again, you got B2'd. I mean, so, I mean, again, and not everybody got it. People told you all to shut up. This is over with. Go do something else, you know, go do something else. But every day, every hour, you came on with your horse shit, and now you getting drugged. You know, that is your fault, not mine. But again, in order to build a PC comparable to the Xbox and the PlayStation, this is with a monitor, you're looking at about $1,500, give or take. Give or take. Or if you're going to buy a TV, you're looking at about $2,100 to $2,200. Okay, that's just that it is what it is. Now my monitor is a 1440p Dell gaming monitor. It's their gaming monitor that they put out. I got it for $299 on sale. When it first came out, it was $299, or maybe it was $399. It was something like that. I don't know. It's paid off, right? So, but I have a 1440p screen. As we know now, Sony supports 1440p. Again, why do you think they did that if their TVs don't really support that? All right, isn't the higher level Bravia TV support 1440p? So they did that to support PC gamers. Why they did it? You know, I keep telling you all, 1440p on with your PlayStation 5, with the downsampling, these games look effing phenomenal. I mean, they look phenomenal. I ain't never seen nothing like it before. So, you know, it is what it is. The problem is the speakers. I don't know why Sony, and maybe it's me, the speakers are just not, you know, I'm going to have to get some kind of speaker set up, you know, for the monitor when I get that. So, you thinking they're more focused on PlayStation version at launch? They are. Are you talking about the Forspoken? Possibly, but we all know, yeah, because for all we know that when it comes to PC, it won't be optimized very well. I mean, it probably will be. That's why AMD is behind it, because remember, they're going to have, with AMD, they're going to let you do all that. What is it called? The super sampling and all that kind of stuff on your console. So I'm going to have to go into my GPU and do it like that. You know, I have to go into my GPU and tell it, oh no, I need this, I need that, which is fine. It's a little more work, but you know, with your PlayStation, it's just going to allow you to choose it. You know, it's going to say choose your game mode or something like that. I have to tell my PC to output this. That's the difference in having the PC. The PC doesn't, it's going to be set to a default setting. When I turn it on, I have to go in and change my defaults. So on console, it's going to be it may be default 4K 30, I don't know. And it's going to say change your setting. Do you want 1080p, whatever, stuff like that. Kind of like they did with Ghostwire Tokyo. So, so the LG C3 has already been cert. Saw it on Twitter. The B2 TV continues to live. Is it a C3? I didn't know. So, let's see. Who cares if gas games are on PC day one? This is pure revenue for Sony. Rami, I don't care, and I'm the one who said it on 60 frames no lag. This maybe Porter Rock can. What do you all say? The receipts, if you don't believe it, this hook up Porter Rock. Excuse me. Try to get in touch with Porter Rock, and maybe he finds it and clips it and puts it out. So, why do Xbox influencers state that Xbox games are held back because of the market share of PlayStation? Because when PlayStation cuts deals, they don't allow they're not going to allow the company that they're making the deal with to put their game day and date on a service. That's it. And again, that's what Microsoft wants to do. They want to pay the developer a certain amount of money, and then the developer just put the game on Game Pass. They did it with that game where that kid talks to the rats, Requiem or something like that, Rat Requiem, whatever it's called. You know, that game is going to come out. They did it with the MLB. They cut a side deal with MLB to bring that game to Xbox on Game Pass. That's a side deal Microsoft is cutting. So it is. That's just the way they're doing it. So, but I love the fact that they Sony nuked these fanboys. I'm the one who told you all. I told you people that the games as a service was going to be day and date with PC. There was no reason for them not to be. You're going to be playing online with your headset on. Who the F cares? You know what I'm saying? So, and how do you get maximum impact with that? You go ahead and you maximize the hit with putting it out to as many people as can get it. Now you're going to say, well, the PC community is going to be cheating. No, that's not what they do. What they can do is they can drop their settings, like resolution. They can drop that to 600p. Then they use the extra resources to go to a frame rate. And now instead of them playing at 120, I'm playing at 210. That's not cheating. That's me using my resources. So again, so I understand now. Will Sony enable or enact some type of toggle that says it has to be online with PC gamers or must be on something? They may implement that. I mean, I think that's a legitimate question. Let me see. I'm trying to get people legitimate questions to ask here. If you're going to be playing the games as a service, say you're going to be playing Fractions or whatever that game is called, and you're like, well, the PC gamers are going to change their FPS rate, and I don't want to play with them. Like you're 10 years old. I don't want to play with them, mommy. They're cheating. That's what you sound like. But okay. And then Sony says, well, here's a toggle switch, and it will allow you to allow no PC gamers into your rooms. That's all you got to do. That's all. And maybe they will do that. So let's see if Sony does that. Now, if Sony comes out and they don't do it, you can legitimately come out and say, the reason why I'm not playing this online is because I would like a toggle switch. That's fair. That is fair. Moopsie says PS4 Pro is still a pretty good system if you're okay with 30. Yeah, again, I don't have an issue with what they're doing. I understand people have concerns, but Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7 alleviated my concerns. Okay, the way those games look, them being cross-gen is not that big a deal. It just is. It's just not. So, the third-party indie devs are going to support. Yeah, they are. Didn't Kena Bridge of Spirits? That was wasn't that cross-play or was it cross-gen? I mean, did that game not look? And then on the PS5, they did what? They did 3D sound. They had you had the pulse sound. You had the stick was a little bit better. You had different options. You had a 60 FPS option. It was something they had. So again, I think it was a legitimate concern two years ago. I agree with you. But now that we got, you got proof that it's just not that big a deal, it's okay. Jesus needs someone to blame for their console of choice being an abject failure. Well, neither one of the consoles is an abject failure. Sony doing what they're doing to me makes sense because there's more revenue out there, and they're derelict in their duty. If they don't try to go get more revenue, they won't have their jobs to. I mean, they think the board of directors doesn't want to see stagnation. They want to see you, if we're gonna, if they're gonna approve Sony getting $20 billion every year to make acquisitions, then they need to see the needle move on that revenue. Okay, it's not that they understand they're going to lose revenue in some quarters, but you got 4 quarters. You better win 3 of your 4 quarters, or you're not going to keep your job too long. I mean, that's just the way that's the way business works. So I said PlayStation is a scapegoat for Xbox's shortcomings. Well, again, all these Xbox guys wanted to do and wanted to say is that Xbox is relevant. That's what they wanted. Them attempting to buy Activision, which, again, let me make this clear, I think the deal will go through. Them trying to get that is them saying that, look at us, we're relevant again. Call of Duty is going to be day and date on Xbox's Game Pass, granted in 3 years, so in 2025. And will Jim Ryan sign the deal, or will he make a deal with EA? I still think Sony makes a deal with EA and they get their hands on Medal of Honor. That is my opinion, though. That is something that can be done. Okay, like, yes, EA makes Battlefield, but Sony is actually going to pay money, meaning Sony walks in and says, we will give you this amount of $1 billion, whatever, to bring back Medal of Honor, and we will co-develop it. I don't know, say EA and, say Sony Bend. I don't know, I'm just putting the studio out there, right? They say EA and Sony Bend now will have Medal of Honor, and it will be exclusive to PlayStation and exclusive to PC and things like that. And PlayStation will publish it on PC through Nix's studio. They'll have 100% exclusive on PC, but it will publish on EA and EA, whatever it is, Origins. It will be published on Origins by EA. This stuff like that. There's ways to work these deals, guys. Do not get caught up in the quote unquote, no pun intended, dog and pony show with these rat ass content creators who don't know shit from Shinola. Just don't do it. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're not doing me a disservice at all. I don't listen to them, right? So sub to them because I will support all content creators best I can, but I ain't gotta listen to the horse shit coming out of their mouth. So just like they ain't gotta listen to me. I mean, look, you guys could be anywhere right now. You could be at IHOP. You could have went to Bob Evans. You could be sucking on a boob. You have decided not to do those things and listen to this. So shout out to you guys. So let's see here. Williams says that custom-made PCs are the last frontier of user customer accessibility and control. Take that away. Well, don't never take that away. Then technology becomes more about controlling the user than the other way around. Well, again, you can get a PC, and they're not hard to build. I built one. So when I started adding to it, I didn't want to move the wires around, so I take it to somebody now. And that's a pain in the ass because it takes them 3 to 5 days to fix it. Even though I take it there on Monday, and they're like, well, it was weird. It's like, if you bring it in on Saturday, they may have it ready by Monday. But if you bring it Monday, they won't have it ready till Thursday. What the hell? But that's just the way the business is. So your Xbox bud hates PlayStation because he refers to them as being liberal. Okay. Okay, that is different. That is a different way to see things, I guess. Let's see here what Herman Holtz says. He says here, let me blow this up here. Dun dun dun. Okay. The Sony PlayStation is diversifying the types of games it makes, but will not neglect its core strength of single-player narrative adventures. PlayStation Studio Chief Herman Holtz tells Axios. To me, them diversifying what they make makes sense to me. I mean, look at how diverse their stuff is now. They've got Ratchet and Clank. They make Ghost of Tsushima. They make a zombie game. They make all kind of stuff. That right there alone is 3 different types of games for three different kind of gamers. And these guys are upset that they're going to expand more into that. It doesn't make sense to me. But again, they're fanboys, and they're not logical. They're emotional. That's what I found out about the fanboys. They're more emotional. They're going to react. Okay, they're going to react, and they're not going to think logically like grown men do, right? Men, we think logically. Females think emotionally. So it says Sony, they're diversifying. So why it matters. It says winning gaming hardware generations by selling the most console is no longer enough for PlayStation. So, okay, that's important for you to understand. So while it entered a new console cycle with the 2020 launch of the PlayStation 5, Sony also has begun expanding into PC and mobile development. So you have to understand this going forward, that selling the most console is no longer enough for them. They've done that all the time. Sony has sold more PlayStations than anything else at any given time. Every generation they have won. They have sold more. So this is what they're saying. Now this is a quote. We have a history and reputation for building these incredible narrative-driven single-player games such as, and he mentions The Last of Us and Horizon and the upcoming Ragnarok game. I can't refer to him as a God of War. So that's Ares. All right. So Holt says chatting in a video conference from his office in Amsterdam. Okay. So it says the PlayStation Studios head is centrally located to orchestrate expansion efforts, coordinating the work of some 4,000 developers across 19 studios from Japan to California. So they answer why Herman Holtz and Sony is located in Amsterdam. That's why they're in there. I've been to Amsterdam twice. We gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Hey, I've been to Electric Avenue. Ain't no shame in my game. The water was chilly. Woo, woo, what a night. Oh, what a night I had. All right, here we go. All right. Back to the podcasting. So we're also diversifying now, and we have stood up 12 projects in total in the live ops multiplayer space. Now, again, the whole thing of putting on a headset and calling the B2, that's not what I'm about. You all know that. So shout out to Sony for this is part of their diversification. I'm not mad. I'm not like, why are they doing this? How come? Look, The Last of Us, Horizon, and the God of War game is plenty for me. That's enough. I mean, that is like me going up to the picnic and putting a couple of burgers and a dog with some kraut on it and mustard and onion, and give me a beer. I'm good, fam. Where's the TV at? That's the next question. Oh, is this where the game's on? All right, I'm good. All right, I'm fine. That's me personally, though. I don't bring. I understand. I'm the only person like me on planet Earth. I like what I like. I don't project what I like onto my audience. I literally will say, here's why I don't like playing games online. Why don't I like playing games online? Because I did it in the 90s. We were playing Descent and Diablo. Yes, Diablo. That game, I played that game in the 90s. Ghost Recon, that was big in the 90s. But getting online with your friends and saying, I'm going to stand over here and I'm going to shoot this over here, and then you cover that. We did that already. Did it? I understand. I've been there, done that. Now you all got to go through it too, and that's fine. So it says here, live ops or live service games are usually multiplayer and designed for years of post-release content that can generate additional income. They talk about Fort Pub and Apex Legends. It says, but Sony has had scant success in that category. Now, if you're the CEO and aren't you going to try to expand into that because you don't have success there? What these fanboys were saying was just leave that whole area of revenue alone, or possible revenue. Leave that whole area of possible revenue alone. And we're going to we want you to concentrate on The Last of Us, Horizon, God of War. That's what they were saying. And don't let them say, that's not what I was talking about. Bitch, please, that's what you were talking about. All right? And you just need to own it now because your body has been blown apart by the PlayStation Death Star. The gaming Death Star came around and went full Reaper on your ass, and you're dead now. You're a zero. A non-mother effing factor. All right? So it says here, most of Sony's live games haven't been announced yet and are deep in development. Okay? They will come from newly acquired teams such as Haven Studios. Oh, yeah, baby. Jade Raymond. Wow. Partners such as Firewalk and even Sony's internal teams, you can blow that if you want, that are best known for their single-player games, Holt says. Now, they won't all be original intellectual property. Makes sense. Holt says, we're not excluding bringing some of our beloved existing franchises into live games. Well, we know they're doing that with The Last of Us, with Fractions, or whatever the hell that game is called. We know they're already doing this. They're doing this already, you dumb shits. So now, traditional PlayStation fans shouldn't fret. The blockbuster single-player narrative games Sony regular wins awards for aren't going away. That's it. Now, so when they say, they're not going to be able to do both. Shut up. Shut up. Okay? Many of Sony's top developers like making them and will continue to do so, the studio chief says. Here's a quote. Some of our biggest titles in the single-player narrative-driven space are also our most profitable titles. That is your key statement. They making the most money. We're going to keep making them. Okay, that's just the reality of it. Sony is courting PC and mobile markets. The latter is nearly double console and global revenue. You remember that game that's coming out? It was called Project Eve, and they changed the name of it to whatever. Okay, that is coming from a mobile studio. That studio is more mobile than anything. But then they went to Sony and said, we would like to try a major game. And Sony said, build a demo. That demo was called Project E. Sony greenlit the game. That's it. Sony greenlit the game. That's how that worked. If they don't look into the mobile space, that game doesn't come. And you got these guys bragging about the game. Same guys bitching, they're complaining about what they're doing. They're getting a major game out of. They're bragging about the game coming out. Like I said, dumb asses. Just dumb. Look, their mama should have swallowed, but she had them anyway, right? So Sony is also courting PC and mobile markets. So we did that one. Okay. On PC, it has released 4 formal PlayStation 4 games to robust sales with more coming. Look at that. Former PlayStation 4 games. And these guys are screaming. Spider-Man was a PS4 game that got remastered for PS5. Now, Miles Morales, I thought, was cross-generation, so it was on both, and it's coming out 2 years to date because it comes out next month on PC, and the PlayStation will be 2 years old next month. Maybe you all need to learn how to count. So, mobile is going slower with no titles announced, but obvious ambition. Holt says Sony plans to build up its eternal capability to make mobile games with work with external partners, and refers to the recently purchased Savage Games. I remember we reported Savage Games being acquired, and what did these bitch ass fanboys say? Well, that's not the studio I want them to buy. Again, shut up, you spoiled entitled brat. So this is why you guys lost. No vision. None. No vision. let's see here. Are people asking questions here? Kratos defeated Ares to become the new and improved. Yeah, that ain't true. He ain't beat no Ares, so that's a fake pseudo Ares. You got fake 4K, you got fake HDR, and you got a fake Ares. He ain't beat no. If he beat Ares, there is no more war. That's what you all don't understand. Okay, understand the lore. Ares is gone. There is no more fighting nowhere. There's nothing to fight for. He's the one that instilled that in men. Therefore, him gone, no more war. So let's see here. We're playing better games now than we did in the first 2 years of PlayStation 4. Yeah, and remember, they said that that's what you were going to do. Yeah, Ragnarok coming. Ragnarok came for these Sony fanboys, didn't it? Ragnarok means the end. So it was a real Ragnarok for them, you know what I'm saying? They kept on thinking Ragnarok is a game. No, it was you getting ethered, okay? So, oh my goodness gracious. Sony greenlit it. You just need to get over it. All right. So, says Sony will also still make PlayStation games for the PS4, despite only having PS5 exclusive console games announced beyond 2022. That means they're going to be making games next year, folks. We're 90 days from 2023, right? So, says we certainly don't want to forget the millions of active players on PS4. This is a quote. So, and we want to ensure there are great games for them as well. We're evaluating it on a case-by-case basis. So not everything, like Ratchet and Clank is not going to be on the PS4. The Last of Us remake is not going to be on the PS4, but Ghost of Tsushima is still on the PS4. All right. The Last of Us Part 2 and Part 1, you could, when you download that off of, let's say you don't have a PS5, but you have PlayStation Plus, okay? You can download The Last of Us Part 1 and 2 and play on your PS4. All right. And both of them, I think, and somebody can correct me on The Last of Us Part 1, didn't it get a 1080p 60 FPS mode if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro? I can't remember. Somebody can look it up. I mean, it's been a long time. So Sony's moves come as costs rise for creating blockbuster games. Most of the bigger teams have grown in years, Hertz acknowledges. So bringing titles to PC for additional sales has helped. This is what people said it was going to do. It has allowed us to continue to invest to invest even deeper into their projects. Isn't that what you want? Money don't grow on trees. You got to spend it to make it, you dumbasses. I mean, man, you fanboys just took it in the shorts, man. You took it in the shorts. Scrutiny over how blockbuster games are made has intensified as well. This is what Matt Booty was talking about, right? So this is what Matt Booty talked about. And this is when I said, yeah, this makes sense. If you can spread costs over multiple studios, you may not, instead of something costing 60 million, it may cost, 51 million. And you're like, well, what's the difference? $9 million. That's a lot of money. That money, that $9 million you save, you can give a nice bonus to your employees. You can reinvest that money and therefore it being written off tax-wise. Y'all are just dumbasses, man. Listen to these fanboys. There's numerous investigative reports about the industry in recent years describes overworked developers crunching long hours to unhealthy degree, including at flagship Sony studio Naughty Dog. Now, the thing about the crunching is a lot of that is they bring in people on contracts, and part of your contract when you're negotiating is Sony could say to you, we need you to work, I don't know, out of 24 hours, you may be at that desk 14 to 18 hours. And you're going to basically say, well, then you're going to pay for my hotel when I stay here. Oh, what hotel you staying at? That extended stay right there on 8th Street. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll take care of that for you. All right. Oh, that's not the only thing you're going to take care of. At the end of my crunch, I need $2,000 and I need $1,500 up front. So I'm getting 3,500 on this crunch. So now I got a hotel room that's free. I'm getting 15 up front and I'm getting 2 on the back end. That's the way you negotiate it. Again, you are going to have to learn this, because eventually employees are going to be negotiating their own salaries before they go to work somewhere. It's not going to be the company is going to say, we're going to pay you 40, 50K. It's going to be, you're going to, I want 50K. Here's how I'm going to reach it with your company. Oh, why should we give you this? Then you got to sell yourself. I mean, you all got to learn how to do that. So, all right. Herman Holtz, quote, "I want to look at our professionals as people that can have balanced long-term careers with proper career progression," Holtz says. He says his teams are trying to tackle the issue with nuance. He floated that an experienced art director might decide they want to work a Saturday to polish something. Am I going to say no? He said, well, it's a bit more complex, but what if his entire team then feels obligated to also go in? That's what they're trying. That's what the nuance means. Just because the director comes in and says, I want to work on something, I'm going to the game. Oh, no, I'm grilling out. Oh, no, I got it. No, I'm going to watch this Tennessee LSU game. You want to come in here and work? I'm going to be drinking and eating. See ya. That's the way I look at it. But he's talking about what other people may feel some kind of pressure to stay, and then they get mad. And now you ain't got to stay. The director is the director. You don't get to be in charge of the project and then not be in charge of the project. That's the way this works, man. Just like I said, dumbasses. Anyway, says that so what that means is that we need to have the conversation with the art director and say, that's about the game, but there's also your team. Yeah, duh. If I'm on that team and I got some beer in the fridge and I got a woman with a nice little boob on her coming over, I'm not coming to work. I mean, I can only speak for myself, though. Oh, but come on, we can get so much done. Shit. I'm going to be getting stuff done while you up here trying to figure out how to make that color redder. I'm going to be grabbing the top of the headboard. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So, since in July, a developer for Naughty Dog remake of the acclaimed The Last of Us tweeted that the game was their first crunch-free experience in their career, praising changes at the studio. Okay, well, I guess that's a big deal. So, now what's next? Hurt says his teams have a dizzying set of priorities ahead of them, including delivering games for the early 2023 launch of PSVR. Right now, that's their priority, not something called a showcase. All right, I don't know what you all talking about with a showcase. They've also got a formidable task to figure out live games and will benefit from the experience of a top studio in that sector, Bungie, which the company recently acquired. Remember what the Fanboy said. There ain't no reason about Bungie if their games aren't going to be, they need to make their games only exclusive. That's not why they bought Bungie, you dumbass. That's like when Han Solo said to Finn, that's not how the Force works. Okay, so they bought Bungie to help manage the live game services, because whether you know it or not, Bungie makes a game called Destiny, which is successful. It's a successful live service game. It's arguably one of the most successful, I said arguably, one of the best, most successful live service games. Just like EA made, again, EA flopped on Anthem, but they are doing well with Apex. Okay? That's okay. People can say, yeah, they flopped with Anthem. Okay? They flopped primarily because all these Mass Effect fans were mad. They were like, we're not going to support the studio anymore. And basically, they were openly rooting for Anthem to fail. And when it failed, they celebrated. They were like, yeah, this is what you get for robbing us on Mass Effect. So anyway, but it says in March, Sony's live ops effort with racing game Gran Turismo 7 hit a snag after it had to correct an unpopular update tied to virtual car prices. We've got to listen and learn and react quickly, Hurt said of the experience. That's what we're learning. So again, that's, support leads to suicide prevention. Yeah, duh, everybody knows that. Anyway, so that's what I like about this. Okay, everything that they're doing, I said they were going to be doing, and that's why I said before. I kind of feel bad for the fanboys, but I don't feel that bad for them because they're gone now. You know, it was like wiping shit off of your shoes, and they're gone. You know, it's like the Hall & Oates song. She's gone. She's gone. Oh why? Oh why? I better learn how to face it. She's gone. I mean, they're gone. So now what are we going to do going forward? That's what I want to talk about next, after I have a swig of the old Kentucky. Gotta get the wrinkles out of the robe right there. Anyway, so next, the question is, the poll is, will you wait a year to play PlayStation 5 games on PC? Again, it's just a yes or no. It's just an opinion. What are you all going to do? Okay, and it's okay if you say I'm buying a PC and I'm just gonna wait, and that's fine as well. It's not that big a deal. All right, it's just an opinion. Will you go ahead and will you go ahead and say I'm gonna wait a year? Will you go ahead and get an Xbox One and say I'm gonna, because Call of Duty is gonna more than likely that Activision deal is gonna get approved. So will the Activision deal getting approved, will it move you over and you'll just be playing, you'll be calling the B2 and getting one man army? I mean, that's fine. I mean, you're a consumer. If you love playing that game, even that dude TCMF, who's a big PlayStation guy, said he bought an Xbox One S so that he could guarantee himself playing Call of Duty because he likes playing Call of Duty. Again, it's fine. I don't have an issue with if it's your money, and you all have to decide what you want to do. But I'm just trying to give you a baseline price on for PC. If you buy a monitor, you're looking at about $1,500 to $1,600. If you go with the TV hookup to your PC, which is fine, you're looking at $2,200 to $2,300 possibly. So, well, Days Gone was just not that good. So, I mean, I finished Days Gone. Everybody kept telling me about something called the Sawmill Horde. And I'm like, that was the easiest horde. The hardest hordes to defeat are the ones that came out of nowhere. But the ones you could see them, like for me, the one at the school, that was hard. But there was a cheat in there. You could get up on the roof. You could get up on the roof because the zombies wouldn't climb the steps for some reason. You could get up on the roof and you could just shoot from there. I mean, I was just gunning them down, and finally it got down to like maybe there were 20 of them, and then I just ran to my motorcycle and got away. So again, I'm not. You all have to make up your own mind. I'm not here to say that. I'm not here to say not to get a PC. I've got a PC. So what? And I specifically remember sitting here years ago saying, if you want to be able to play pretty much everything, get yourself a PC and a PlayStation, and that covers you on everything. And there are going to be some people who, it's like, I bought The Last of Us Part 1 remaster. Okay, I bought it, right? Sony drugged me out of my bed in my dirty underwear, and so it goes over. They drug me out to the store, and I went up to Target and demanded that they sell it to me, and they didn't have any. Then I went to GameStop, and they didn't have any. And then I went to Best Buy, and they didn't have any. So I came home, and Sony put a gun to my head and made me buy that game digital, and I got mad. What's up, Lincoln? So, you know damn well I'm talking about Mass Effect. So, the Mass Effect has been the destruction of the fanboys. And it's crazy. At this point, I bought Uncharted Lost Legacy, which was a PS4 game, and I bought Uncharted 4, which is a PS4 game that came out with on the PS5 that does VRR and 120 FPS, whatever this damn thing can do. So if I set it to that. So, but again, this is your money. What are you guys going to do? What are you guys not going to do? Are you going to buy PSVR Part 2 as well? I know I'm going to get my hands on it. So that's the next thing I am wanting to get. Okay. As far as once I get the VR set, then my PS5 setup is done. I'll be done with getting things for the PS5. That'll be 2 controllers. I do need another headset. So because the foam's coming out, but if I, so again, what am I doing on Black Friday? What am I buying? People want to know that. A new Sony Pulse headset. I'm buying that. So hit that like button, and then you can always donate for the headset. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and do a dono war. Somebody told me to do a dono war for it. So let's see. Ghostfaces. The question is, will you wait for games to come to PS Plus Premium? Well, that's the whole thing. That's why I've said before, I don't know how Sony's going to bridge that. Is the game going to come out? Then it's 6 months, it goes to PS Plus Premium. Then at the 1 year mark, it go to PC. I don't know. I think that's a great question. That is a great question. We won't know that until next year. Okay. We won't know that until next year. So, but I think that's a fantastic question. Will Forbidden West come to, before it goes to PC? How long, to me, that's a better question. We know how long they're going to wait on PC, at least a year. How long are they going to wait before they move it to the Plus collection, whatever you want to call it? That's a great question. That, to me, as a PlayStation gamer, is a bigger question than when is it going to go to PC. The fanboys are obsessed with the PC because they can no longer say exclusive games. They can no longer say that, so they don't have that as a slam card, and because they don't have it as a slam card, they panic, and then they got their shorts blown off. Okay, they got like the big bad wolf came and blew their house of straw down, and they were just going crazy the other day. Getting drugged up and down, just up and down the dial on Twitter. So to the point where a lot of them stopped tweeting, or maybe they blocked me. I don't know. So, because I let them have it too. It was bad. So, a bootleg copy after the next. So, if PC helps us get great games and you're still in, again, it's people keep saying that. So the fanboys will say, Sony, you put your games on PC and it made this much money. But all that money's 100% profit. So it's like, well, it didn't make as much money. It made that much money on PC, and it made more money on the console. Yeah, of course it did. But everything on the PC is profit. So Peter said we have 25 games on the way. That's 6 games. That's 6 years of games if they release one game every third or fourth. Yeah. Like, what are we expecting? Again, as gamers, that's what I'm expecting. That is what I'm expecting. I don't know what the fanboys are expecting. So and now I don't care what they're expecting because they lost. And so, yeah. And 12 of those games are games as a service, right? I know that. And I know one of those games will be games as a service for them is MLB The Show. I know they're doing another MLB. Games as a service as the factions game. I know that's coming. So what are the other 10 games? You see what I'm saying? Because I know those 2 are coming. So but what are the other 2 games? You see what I'm saying? That is important for me as a gamer to know. But it's not like it doesn't pervade everything I do. So I much rather go for a walk outside with my headset listening to A Tribe Called Quest on Spotify than sit down and call in the B2 and get one-man army. But that's just me. So high budget demands high payback. Yeah, you set, and Sony sets the bar high. They make, at one point, how any other year Ghost of Tsushima wins Game of the Year. It didn't the year it came out. But any other year, that game wins Game of the Year. So, it does. it just does. So I mean, wow. I mean, that game. I'm playing that game now. That was it, Icky Allen. I'm on that Icky Allen expansion, and that's something else. You know, that is fun. So the 3 titles, W Gaming says 3 titles, 3 to 4 titles a year. First party would be preferable. That's exactly the pace you're on right now. That is the pace you're on right now. I mean, this year alone, Gran Turismo, Forbidden West, Lost Legacy, and Uncharted 4, and then you know, The Last of Us Part 1. You know, maybe I said that already. And then God of War. I mean, you're looking at, and then they want to say, and don't get into these arguments with the fanboys saying, well, remasters and remakes don't count. Bullshit. If I can buy it, it counts. You know, that's what I'm saying. Don't get into the arguments with them. So they're the ones now switching over to getting Steam accounts and stuff like that. So is Sony stock being low anything to worry about? No, I have Sony stock, and when you buy when it's low, you all understand that about stocks, right? I mean, I'm not a stockbroker, but I can tell you one of the things, if you buy stock, you buy it when it's low and you sell it when it's high. So, but their stock could go back up again. That's the market. The market is gone low. The market started to hurt after OPEC Plus announced they were going to cut the barrels of oil by 2 million per day starting November 1st. So that's the reality, right? That's the reality. So no, I wouldn't worry about stock prices. Hey, what are the stock prices? Let's look at my AMD stock. Even AMD is down. I mean, it is. I'm looking at today, and it's it started at 64, and now it's down to 61. They've lost a lot of. That's a lot of volume right there. So, you know, and the high. All right, so the high, AMD stock high. You want to know what it was? A 52-week high, $164. But now it's lost 100. Now it's back up again. So. Jump back. People are gonna buy it. Yeah, AMD. Let's put this up here. AMD shares fall more than 7% on weak outlook. That's why AMD stock is going down, because the outlook, I guess Lisa Su came out with, is not what they expected. Shares of other chip makers, including Intel and Nvidia, are also down. This is when you get into the market, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can really tell you at this point. You buy AMD stock. You bought PlayStations and Xboxes, and you haven't bought stock in the company that makes them. You all better get on that. So better get on that. But guys, I am going to bounce out of here. But yeah, just what are you guys going to do? I mean, you don't have to answer me now, but you know, will you wait a year? Let's see here. Let's close this poll to get the final results. And the final results is no. That's out of 62 people polled that voted. Will you wait a year to play PS5 games on PC? The 74% of you said you wouldn't. So that's the vast 3 out of 4 you said no. 25% you said they will wait, and that's fine. That actually does make sense. So Deidre says he thinks PlayStation at this right moment looking like the games are closest to be finalized, which order they start to market. Right now, you got to understand their marketing is with God of War and PSVR. They're sharing the market. The marketing this month is with WB, with Black Adam, and The Rock. The Rock right now is the biggest star in Hollywood. That movie comes out on the 21st. That's in 2 weeks. They've got Black Panther marketing ramping up, and they've got their marketing deal with Capcom at Resident Evil. You all keep forgetting about that. So don't forget about stuff like that, guys. that they are sharing the market with those guys. The Black Panther and Black Adam movie are sandwiched right in between the Capcom stuff and God of War. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's reality, and they're going to be marketing Callisto Protocol, which I'm getting day one. They're going to start WB after the Rock stuff, after Black Adam comes out. After that comes out, the next thing WB starts to market is the Harry Potter video game. They'll start marketing that midway through December, and Disney will start marketing Avatar Part 2 in December, probably maybe at the end, in December, and or mid-November. So all that is sharing the same spot. So says you might get a Steam Deck, but that's it, no PC. Oh, okay, yeah, the Steam Deck is very capable. That is a very capable thing. So Ryan Reynolds is the second biggest and hot. You think so? Okay. Yeah, I don't know who this. I know The Rock is the biggest at this point. It used to be, it was Will Smith up until he smacked Chris Rock. When Will Smith won that Oscar, or was going to win that Oscar, he, at that point, that was going to be his crowning achievement. He was going to literally take over Hollywood. But then he did that stupid shit. So, but Ryan Reynolds got a lot of stuff, though. So, and look, if the PC community wants to wait a year, I think that's great for them. I think that's fantastic for them. If Sony can make a Warzone type game and refine that, they have a winner. I think they get their hands on, look, I think they get the marketing for Battlefield. I believe Sony will get the marketing for that game. And I also believe that Sony will bring back Medal of Honor. This is a sneaky suspicion I got. I don't know. So, and I think Medal of Honor will be only on PlayStation, and I think it will be like day and date on PC. I think games that they co-develop with people will be day and date. So that's just, again, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out going into this generation. But that's just my opinion. Counter-Strike, yeah, that would work. Yeah, that'd be. He's talking about CS:GO. Yeah, that could work. They could try to buy Frontier Games. They make Elite Dangerous. That's a games as a service. I mean, there's a lot of games as services out there, but it sounds like from what Sony announced, they're more, they would rather try to buy the studios and then let the studios develop their own thing and grow that way versus organic growth, they call it, versus just running out there and buying something. That's what it sounds like. We'll have to wait and see how long that holds. That could change if Microsoft gets their hands on Activision. You know, I've said before, if that deal goes down, I believe Sony will actively go after Capcom through the Bank of Japan. I think they go to the Bank of Japan and they walk into Capcom and they walk in there with a blank check and they say, put down how much you want. I think Sony does that, and I think Capcom goes to Sony. But I think Microsoft will get their hands on CD Projekt Red. I think they'll possibly get Slow Cap. They're the ones who make Sifu. I think Sony gets Ember Labs, Square Enix, and Capcom. And I think Sony can do what Microsoft is doing, but they're gonna have to go to the Bank of Japan to get the money. And I always say to people, don't think they won't do that. And I was told that by multiple people, that Sony will just go to the Bank of Japan and they will declare what Microsoft is doing is a threat to their business model, and Bank of Japan will give them the money that they need to get the studios they want. Doesn't mean they'll get them. This means they will have the capital to bring those studios in. Deadpool, yeah, crossover is going to implode on its own. Well, yeah, that cracked me up. I mean, these are the same people that were telling you that the MCU is dead, and then Kevin Feige whips it out and says, no, we still got Deadpool and Wolverine here. So we'll have to see. The introduction of mutants is happening. I'm glad that they waited to the end of phase 4 to do it. Because remember, the fanboys of Marvel were like, when are we going to see the mutants? When are we going to see the mutants? And Kevin Feige has positioned things so that you will see mutants, but it's going to be on their time, not on this fanboys' time. COVID got you back into online gaming. It did that for a lot of people. Don't feel bad. A lot of people jump back online. So Ezra says, even the Japanese government, if Sony really needs to call in that. Yeah, I mean, that's what they'll do. It's people act like Sony can't go get the money. They are part of, they're part of Japan's business model for worldwide things. They're not going to let them die. If they need the money, they will go to the Bank of Japan and they will get the money. And again, they already set aside $20 billion for them. I think it's 20 billion per year to purchase studios. The Bank of Japan could increase that to 80 billion. The Bank of Japan, or something like that, 60 billion. And then all of a sudden they have a ton of extra cash to throw at studios to go get. So they talk about Dr. Doom will be the real baddie. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I heard that too. And I don't think they're going to call him Dr. Doom if he comes. I think they're going to call him Dr. Vaughn. That's just my opinion, though. I know his name is Victor Von Doom, but that is too obvious. I just think they call him Dr. Vaughn. But that's what I would do if I was writing it. But I'm not writing it. So I think it would be I am Dr. Vaughn. But yeah, I did hear that the group of people that Ironheart makes those suits for, the deep sea diving suits, that's going to be Victor Von Doom's company. I've heard that. Yeah, have to wait and see though. Yeah, Red Skull was a good villain, but that's when I was learning all of the Captain America stuff and Marvel stuff, because I knew more about the DC stuff than I did Marvel stuff. So that was an education. I had to do a crash course reading on Marvel stuff. So didn't know that 20 billion USD a year. Sony never used it though. No, they used it to buy. Yeah, they did. They bought Haven. They bought Bluepoint. They bought Housemarque. They bought. Where do you think they got the 3.6 billion to buy Bungie? So Bungie was 3.6 billion. So, and I believe Sony either 15 or 20 billion for acquisition. So, and it's something like that. So they self-fund. Well, right, but if they are threatened by Microsoft's business model that they're using with Game Pass, they will go get more money. The Red Skull got out of Vormir when the Soul Stone was released. Oh, he got out? All right. So if they go back to Vormir, he won't be there. Is that what you're saying, or is that the comics you're talking about? Because we don't know if it's like that in the MCU. So he had to be teleported somewhere. Yeah, well, they show you in Captain America, when he tries to do something with that stone, remember it shows him being sucked out of that airplane, and that's where he ended up, just as I don't know what he called it, a phantom or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, those stories were really good. You think we get another acquisition announced for the end of the year? Yes. Yeah, I do think you get another one by the end of the year. This Wolverine movie, it's not the Wolverine movie. It's Deadpool 3. It's going to be part of the MCU. No, the Logan stuff is not canon. None of that is canon to the MCU. It can be considered fan stuff. Like if you have Disney Plus, they consider it legacy. They consider all the X-Men stuff legacy. You see the Bitfrost streams flush on the mountain in game. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but I just don't. I remember in game. I remember the sacrifice Black Widow makes, but if that were true, then Thanos snapped his fingers and he was still there in Endgame. Thanos used the Infinity Gauntlet in Infinity War. So yeah, but if you go on Disney Plus, and you look at Marvel, the X-Men stuff, the cartoons, all that stuff, that's under Marvel Legacy. So X-Men, Wolverine, and all that kind of stuff. Or it was called Wolverine, was it Origins or something like that? That's part of the X-Men saga, X1 and 2, all that. Dark Phoenix, they consider that legacy. Like, yes, this was entertaining. This was fun to watch. It was fun to talk about, but it's not part of the MCU. So, because he dies in Logan, right? So how can he come back and play him one more time if he's dead? He can't. So now, will they kill him off because he's Weapon X? I don't know. They might. So, because isn't Deadpool part of the Weapon X program? Marvel has been better. Well, Star Wars, Mandalorian, a lot of that stuff is done on the Unreal Engine. I didn't watch the Mario movie trailer yet. I cannot do that. So they're talking about Zac Efron could be the next Wolverine. It's what people are bantering around. I think Scott Eastwood would be a better Wolverine than Zac Efron, but that's, again, if I was doing the casting, I would look at both of those guys. So I know Sony did a good job getting Tom Holland versus getting Asa Butterfield for Spider-Man. But again, I think for me, Logan personally is one of my favorite movies, not just superhero movie. I thought that was just a good movie, like Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's a really, if you like espionage and all that kind of stuff, cloak and dagger stuff, Captain America: Winter Soldier, that's one of the best movies you're gonna see. It's not he's a superhero, I understand that, but even my mom liked that movie. Maybe it's because it had Paul Newman in it. So not Paul Newman, I'm sorry, it had Robert Redford in it, but yeah, I mean, that was just a good movie. Even she liked that. Yeah, I think Deadpool is part of the Weapon program, but Wolverine is designated Weapon X, right? And that girl that was in Logan, she's like Weapon 20 or something like that. You hope Secret Invasion will be great. Yeah, I do too. Samuel Jackson going to be having his own show. So, I think that's really exciting to get excited about. Samuel Jackson is one of the most successful actors in Hollywood. That man been around since Spike Lee doing movies. So he was back during my heyday. Samuel Jackson, so what did Sony announce? The little girl was X-23. Yeah, so she's part of the Weapon X program. Yeah. So they're talking about making Secret Invasion to a full-blown into theater. That's where it will end up, but it's going to start on Disney Plus. Will start on Disney Plus. Now, the other movie, Armor Wars, the guy with Don Cheadle who plays War Machine, that's going to go directly into the theater. Probably I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come out before. Armor Wars, does it come out before Captain America and the New World Order? And remember, Captain America is being played by Sam Wilson. You got a black Captain America, so says, you think we should all switch to PC and Xbox? Sony has nothing left. I am sad. Okay, well, that's a fair statement. I disagree, but I mean, you have a right to your opinion. So I have a PC and I have PlayStation, so I can play all the Xbox stuff on my PC. I upgraded my PC to play Starfield. So, and Starfield, from what I've been told, may be delayed into the fall again. So we'll have to wait and see, though. So, yeah, Nick Fury, yeah. So he is going to be on Disney Plus first, I believe. That's where Secret Wars will be interesting. So we tried to bait and failed. Oh. So yeah, he's a good Fury. I think all the people they hired to play those roles were the perfect people to play those roles. So the guy that plays Ant-Man, I mean, the mere fact that Marvel went from begging people to come in there and read scripts just read the script. They were able to get people like friggin' Robert Redford to play in their movies. I mean, that's amazing how far they came. So, but that's, I mean, again, so, and that's because Robert Downey Jr., that is why Robert Downey Jr. to this day gets the biggest applause, because if it wasn't for him putting it on the wood, we wouldn't have gotten here. It wouldn't have happened. But to their credit, Marvel listened to Downey, and the powers that be listened to Downey, and we got what we got. And, as they ran across the screen in Endgame, when those guys were running across the screen, like I said, a tear came to my eye, because it was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Everything we read from the time we were kids and sat around and said, what if this happened? What if that happened? It was on the screen happening. Well, I mean, again, Sony's being more aggressive in the PC market because there's money over there. So another day of fanboy moisture. Yeah, they moist as hell, man. I don't. But they're gone. And the fanboys are gone. I mean, if you're gonna still listen to them, that's up to you all. I don't know what else to say anymore about it. So Stan Lee loved Downey's performance. Yeah. And remember, you got to remember, Phase One, Disney didn't buy Marvel until the end of Phase One. Phase One was primarily done through Paramount, and Paramount wanted Tom Cruise to play Iron Man, but they were going to have to delay shooting for like 9 weeks because he was finishing up Mission Impossible. I don't know which one, but it was like he was doing, I don't know if it's Mission Impossible 3 or so. I mean, that's how long the MCU has been around. And the guy that plays Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau, fought to keep Downey in that role, and that's why they sidelined Happy in the rest of those movies. If you want to know why he was kind of frozen out, and he left Marvel to go work for Kathleen Kennedy, and he's doing fine. He's part of the production team of Mandalorian, so I say he's doing fine, But yeah, I would have never thought, after coming out of the Iron Man movie, the first one, if you had told me we would have gotten a Doctor Strange movie, I'm like, there's no way. A Guardians of the Galaxy movie? No way. When we left that theater after seeing Iron Man, I'm like, there's no way we're going to get to that point. Even though at the end of Iron Man, they talk about the Avengers Initiative, none of those guys have been cast. And then, Kevin Feige coming out there, feeling himself because Iron Man did well, was like, no, we're going to do the Incredible Hulk next. And they got Ed Norton, who had chops on him too. And it came out and it didn't do the number that they wanted. And then they canceled the Avengers. And Downey Jr. went to Paramount and Marvel at the time and said, let's do Iron Man 2. I'll renegotiate my deal. We'll do Iron Man 2. And if it does a certain number, let's go ahead and try to get back to the Avengers. And Paramount said, okay, let's see where we're at after the first month. And Iron Man, and then he went, and then Downey Jr. went on the talk show circuit. He from LA to New York, he was on all the radio shows. California, he went to Las Vegas to promote Iron Man 2. He went to Houston and Dallas to promote it. He went to Atlanta. He went to Miami. Then he went to New York and Boston, and he promoted Iron Man 2. And he's the guy that knocked the rust and the dust off the engine and got everybody to go back to see Iron Man 2, which the end cutscene is Thor's hammer. And when everybody saw Thor's hammer, everybody was like, yeah, great, And so then we went and saw Thor, which was just kind of, but you had to get through it. And then they did Captain America after that. And I'm like, all right, I don't know about this, but I went and saw it in 3D because 3D was the rage at the time. And I'm like, yeah, this was actually pretty good. Here I am thinking that the A on his forehead meant America for 35 years. It meant the Avenger. I didn't even know that. So, it was educational for the brother man. But then next thing you know, Avengers came out and it sold out for the entire friggin' weekend. They had to call a Brinks truck up to the theater to get the money out. At one point, there was over $7 million in that movie house. I ain't never seen that much money. Like, it was, they just had it stacked on pallets. Seven racks, okay? There's huge amounts of money in there that Brinks had to come in there and get. So that's the most time I've never seen anything like that before. So how tall was that? It was 5'9" of money stacked on top of each other, because it was taller than me. I'm 5'8". So, you know, I was just like, oh my God, I've never seen this much money before. So, and that movie, Avengers made a lot of money. Made a lot of money. So, you think it's the best superhero origin movie? Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that was good. I thought Doctor Strange's origin movie was good. Ant-Man, the Paul Rudd Ant-Man, he would be the second Ant-Man. I thought that was a good origin story. But yeah, I think they're all. Remember, Iron Man 1 is an origin story. That's widely considered the best. But I don't. Again, like I said, like if we were playing What If, or we were at the comic book store, that's a great question to ask. Hey, who do you think has the best origin story in the MCU? That's a legit one. So, it's up there, Harry Tran. But I enjoyed Captain America: The First Avenger. It doesn't hold up well, but it's still fun to watch. You know, but it doesn't hold up well. Let's see here. What's that about Daredevil? Same actor from Netflix series is doing that. Yeah, if you don't know, he was also in Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie. Charlie Cox, that's the power. Let me make sure you all understand this. That's the power of being a fan. If you do it the proper way. When Disney got all that property back, we liked Charlie Cox's Daredevil so much that we wrote letters to Disney. And you got to write letters, all right, to them, pleading with them to keep Charlie Cox around. And they did it. They kept Charlie Cox, and we were all happy. And then when we had heard they were going to do it, but we were still kind of, well, we don't know. But then in Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie, that he plays Peter Parker's attorney. You know, so yeah. It was fun. Yeah, it was great. So yeah, I agree, Jeff. I didn't think Thor 1 and 2 was the best. Thor 2, you got to understand the way that happened. Thor Part 2, The Dark World, is so bad that they've retroactively tried to fix it. So if you go back and watch it now, knowing everything you know now, you watch it, it's not that bad. Okay? It's not. It's kind of like, but you got to remember, Thor 2 was the opening of Phase 2, I believe. I think Thor 2 is because Iron Man 3 closes out Phase 1, and then Thor 2, or Dark World, opens Phase 2. And it wasn't that good. I agree with you. People walked out of the theater like, I mean, I was there when it happened. They were like, And then we got the Winter Soldier. And then following the Winter Soldier, I think we got Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's the way it went. And it actually worked. Everybody, after the Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, those came out the same year. I think 2014. Somebody can go back and double check, or maybe, yeah, I think 2014. And then the rust was knocked off again. Everybody was excited again. This is kind of the way things went. The Netflix art is likely canon. Some of it is the Kingpin. I don't know. Kingpin. He was in the Hawkeye series. Granted, he wasn't in there a long time, but he's canonized. Echo is going to, and you'll see more Kingpin in the Echo series, which I'm excited about. So I'm excited about the Echo series. So, and I get it. People are just kind of like, I don't want to see She-Hulk but I'm excited for Echo. So, and hopefully you all will be too, because that's a fascinating character. So that's a fascinating character. So if they do it right, and it may be trash, I don't know. So. Yeah, what Mario Heat, I understand what you're talking about. It's the same character, but he may act differently. That is true. But from what we saw, well, I don't know if you're watching She-Hulk, but maybe you ought to watch the last episode of She-Hulk. And that's if that's the what we're gonna get. I don't want to give it away. I sort of did. You watch the last episode of She-Hulk, there's a big surprise in it. Okay? There was a hint in episode 5 of She-Hulk, but the last episode we got, it was this. Isn't Echo a bootleg Taskmaster? No, Echo is actually deaf. I believe Echo is deaf. So I have to wait and see how they operate her character though. And see, I would, instead of having Taskmaster, as which I understand technically they are part of that team that's coming out, but I would have went with Echo. But hey, we got Ghost coming back. The girl playing Ghost is fine. I mean, that chick is fine. So she's back playing Ghost. So, but and probably instead of having Ghost, I would have had Echo. But that's just, oh man, that's like splitting straws. I'm like, man, do you want Jack Daniels? Or do you want Jack Daniels honey, or do you want Jack Daniels sour mesh? I can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Of mimicking, they do, but I think Echo does hers more naturally, whereas at Taskmasters is based on technology. But you're not wrong about that. I understand a bootleg character, so they have similar characteristics. So they both mimic, but I remember Echo mimics based on ability, and Taskmaster does it based on technology. So you think Taskmaster's cooler? Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that though. That's fine. You know, I don't have an issue with that. You know, so I do not have an issue with that. So like the wise crap gamers say, you just want them to keep the same energy. Daredevil sounds different. No, he does not. I mean, how can you take that little bitty sample size and say he sounds different? He sounded the same as the Attorney. Okay, he wanted to use stealth, and She-Hulk wanted to go in there and go full Hulk out, which, you know, she did in a way, but Daredevil was still taking down people. So, so it was written goofy. Again, She-Hulk is more comedic than anything. So he was going to act a little silly, but they said their version, I guess I get what you're saying. The MCU version of Daredevil won't be as dark as the Daredevil series on Netflix. It doesn't mean it won't have some dark episodes or overtones, but yeah, I don't disagree. The thing that stands out to me with the first Daredevil is the first hallway fight scene. That first hallway fight scene was epic, and I thought we were going to get another one, and that was the joke. When she just came through the ceiling, it was like, oh, I thought we were going to get another big fight scene, but she was like, no, I don't have to do that. So, you hope Born Again is better? Well, isn't it going to be like 30 episodes? I think Kevin Feige is really showing some love there. I think he's already announced. It was weird. Was it 20 episodes or 30 episodes or something like that? So, I get what you're saying. The Daredevil in the movies doesn't use the staff throwing as efficiently like he does in the comic. Well, I mean, again, that's small potatoes. Yeah, Captain America's a lot stronger though. I mean, he's a lot stronger. They actually had to power down Captain America. So, I mean, really, they had to power him down. So, just to make it fair. Like, when him and Bucky were fighting Iron Man and Civil War, I mean, they could have killed him. They could have killed him. I mean, that's how strong both those guys are. But they didn't. They didn't. You know, I still think Iron Man had the best line ever when Steve was walking away with Bucky, and after Bucky had killed Tony's parents, and he just said, "You don't deserve that shield. My dad made that shield." That for me personally, that struck me to the nub. I mean, that struck me down. The Daredevil is more like Batman character using stealth than Brawn. Well, so is Nightwing. To me, Nightwing is more like Batman, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of crossover there. I mean, I like Daredevil in the sense that the attorney, I mean, in the Netflix show, the whole attorney stuff, I like that. I thought the first season was extremely balanced. The second season, it was more about Daredevil. And the third season, they split it right down the middle. So it was good, but I thought the last 5 episodes of season 3 of Daredevil, I thought that was fantastic. I liked the Punisher. I liked the first Punisher season. The second Punisher season, I think there was a second one. Maybe it wasn't, just felt like it. But like I said, I'm more interested in Echo and all that kind of stuff than Daredevil. I'd rather see the new character, and plus she's hot. So, you know, I'm biased on that. But yeah, I like it all. I understand people are like, well, Phase 4 hasn't been as good, and I'm not going to argue with people's opinion. You know, like I said, there are black men that are boycotting the Black Panther movie because based on the previews, they don't like the fact that women are being put up in the front. And even the last preview we had was more about Namor, you know, showing his Aztecan and Mayan roots and stuff like that. So, am I playing Overwatch 2? No, I don't have Overwatch 2. Now, I've heard it's not that good, but each to his own. I didn't play the first Overwatch. They're going to bring yeah, they're bringing him back as Punisher. Yeah, they said they were. So, they said they were. I mean, you always, it's like with Ewan McGregor when Kathleen Kennedy, even though there's like they said about the jump, if you watch Obi-Wan Kenobi for Star Wars, if you watch that show, okay, and then you watch episode 4. Okay, so Luke Skywalker, when he leaves Tatooine, he is supposed to be 18 years old. But when Obi-Wan Kenobi meets him as a child, Luke is 10. And there's and Alec Guinness, I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi's character, according to the canon, is 50 years old when he meets Luke Skywalker. I think that's what they said, 50 or 51. And Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan Kenobi looks like he's 80 years old. I mean, so at least, I mean, when I was a kid, he was I'm a kid, right? Here's this old white guy with a full beard, you know, and just, you know, wearing a robe. And now, you know, but they asked Kathleen Kennedy that, and they said, look, the only one that could play Obi-Wan Kenobi was Ewan McGregor. They weren't going to recast it. Just as a fan, hopefully if you understand what I'm saying here, as a fan, we just have to go with, he just looks different. You know, he looks like he's 25 years older in Star Wars than he did at the end of Obi-Wan. So you thought Obi-Wan was trash? Okay, fair enough. I didn't. I thought the first 2 episodes moved real slow. So, but I thought after that 3rd episode, I mean, you got to try to remember where Obi-Wan is in his life mentally. He just doesn't care anymore. You know, he lost his best friend. His best friend he thought died. He had to watch the Queen of Naboo, Padme. She died. His Owen doesn't want nothing to do with him. He has no friends. You know, so it's just, he's a hermit, you know. The pacing and acting. Well, the pacing I agree with. I agree with the pacing, but 100% agree with the pacing. But I thought it got better after episode 3. But again, it's fine. It's okay to not like it. I don't want to come across like that. I thought it was enjoyable based on what Kathleen Kennedy and Ewan McGregor said at the Star Wars convention. So they both said, here's what the story's going to be about. Here's the expectation of it. This is where Obi-Wan Kenobi is. This is what you're going to see. We got exactly what they said. So So, but it's more about his time of, him. It's about him recognizing what happened and him accepting what happened to Anakin. Because remember when Darth Vader first, he was like, Anakin, what happened to you? And he said, I am what you made. And he went and he started to torture him. And Obi-Wan Kenobi felt sorry for himself and he couldn't believe it. But once he accepted that his friend is gone and now he's this menacing figure, that's where he gets the strength in the final episode to do what he did. And you got to understand, he was running from Darth. He wasn't trying to fight him. He was too powerful. He's too powerful. He's not trying. Darth Vader could have killed him, but he wanted to torture him. As a Sith, Sith's all greatest weakness is their hubris. Okay? Not their technique, it's their hubris. And Anakin was guilty of hubris. Darth Maul was killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi because of hubris. So that other dark Jedi that was working for the for Darth Vader, hubris. But she kind of started a pathway back when she helped Obi-Wan at the end there. So yeah, Darth Vader again, which we all know, Darth Vader is his most powerful in between episodes 3 and 5. That's when Anakin Skywalker is his most menacing self. That 25 years in that timeline. So, because remember, it took the Empire 20 years to build the first Death Star. Then it took the Rebels 15 minutes to blow it up. But, but that's kind of the way that timeline goes. I just think a lot of people don't recognize the timeline and for what it is. It's like people are like, well, where's the Mandalorian? It's like, okay, the Mandalorian show is happening 30 years after Rogue One. And matter of fact, the Mandalorian is happening before what's the name of The Force Awakens. It's not even in that timeline. It's happening like 30 to 40 years before the Force Awakens, but it's happening after Return of the Jedi. So, and there were still Imperial garrisons, and people are like, well, there's Imperial stuff. Yeah, but it's the makings of the First Order. Like Moff Gideon, the one who wanted to capture Baby Yoda, Moff Gideon, that he is one of the first operators of the First Order. Okay, so oh, the Andor show, I love it so far. It is so good. There's a huge Easter egg in it as well for the Solo movie. I won't give it away. You gotta really listen to it. If it makes any difference, the first Andor show, 1 and 2, you can watch those back. It's streaming now, but it's 4 episodes in, I believe, and I loved it. I'm loving it. I'm watching it now. I stopped the Andor show to talk to you guys, right? But I love it. Here's what it's like. Imagine the Han Solo movie being a TV show. If they had converted the Solo show or the Solo movie into a TV show, it would be the Cassian Andor show. That's why I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because that's who Cassian Andor is. He is Han Solo. He's the rogue. He's on the run all the time. It's just a good show. Try to watch it, man, and tell me what you think about it. So, The Apprentice from the Force Unleashed possibly coming back in a show or movie. No, I don't think. Well, if he comes back, it may be somebody based on him, but they won't call him Star Killer. If you want to know, Star Killer was Luke Skywalker's original name. It was Luke Star Killer. That's where they got the term Star Killer base and all that stuff from. Lucas went back in and said, I think I'm going to call him Skywalker. So, is Mandarin the Mandalorian's native language? No. They have their own language, but Galactic Basic that's English. That's why when you see the words in Star Wars, it's not in English, it's in Galactic Basic. But English is their Galactic Basic. So but mandarin oranges are very good. So also, if you play Icky Allen, Ghost of Tsushima, did you know there was a God of War reference in there with him touching the tree? You could go up to the same tree. I'm like, hey, where'd this tree come from? I put it on my Twitter. I'm like, God of War, you know, Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. So, but mandarin oranges are very good. All oranges are good, but I love mandarin oranges, yeah. But yeah, but no, Andor for me personally has been it's really standing out. And Diego Luna, the guy that plays Andor, he wrote his own backstory. Like his whole backstory, he didn't have one, right? He went in and wrote his own backstory. That's why when I hear these moist ass fruit booties talking bad about Star Wars, I'm like, write your own stories. It's not hard. You know, the Marvel stuff. I don't like what they're doing in the MCU. You do realize after they killed Thanos in Endgame, when they go to that planet and they kill Thanos, there's a 5-year gap because it says 5 years later. You can write an entire story for one, you know, you can do a 5-year story on what happened on Earth after Thanos made his snap. Even the directors, even the Russo brothers said, that's a good question. Sounds like a story somebody should write. But instead you got these men running around moist as hell, upset over the direction of Black Panther and all that kind of stuff. So Ring of Power is starting to rivet up. Yeah, I like that show and that girl's cute too. You know, I like that girl's smooth cat. I mean, I like that face. So if I was head of PlayStation Studios and the fanboys are effing you or what? How would I respond? I wouldn't respond to the fanboys because ultimately, no matter what you do, there's some people, there are gonna be people who don't like it. So what they're doing, what Sony is doing is, to me personally, they're moving PlayStation Studios like Sony motion picture studios. So it's easy for me to see their projected path. I knew they were going to do day and date with gas games because that makes the most sense business wise. I wasn't just saying it, you know, I said it months ago. So, but you had these moist fanboys. I mean, you had Sean Layton in multiple print-up articles say only on PlayStation was going to be a thing of the past. Then you had Sean Layton go on Jay Barry's podcast and say that it was him who started the move of games from PlayStation to PC. All Jim Ryan is doing is doing what Sean Layton started. He literally is just finishing what he started. But you got to understand that is opposite of what the fanboys want because they built their channels on console warring. So they don't want Sony to do games on PC. I mean, I hope that makes sense. Again, people who have an invested interest for things to be fucked up have an invested interest on things being fucked up. And they don't like the fact that Sony is moving in this direction, even though it's more money for Sony that they can turn around and reinvest into creating games. You know what I'm saying? Though they bought into From Software, 14% into Kodakawa, right? They buy into that. And these fanboys get mad and say, well, you just need to buy the whole thing. You can't just buy the whole thing. They have other partners, you know, so, but they have said how it's going to benefit them. Yes, it's going to benefit them on the gaming front first and foremost, but they could make an Elden Ring TV show, possibly. You know, they could make a Bloodborne movie. I don't, you know, but So to me personally, I'm like, well, that's actually a pretty good investment because it can lead you to other parts of revenue, right? So the fanboys honestly don't know what they're talking about, and I'm glad Sony went, what is it called, super sading, whatever you want to call it, on them. They destroyed them. So they destroyed them. So what is LOTR? Lord of the Rings. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about the Lord of the Rings. I just know that show is pretty good, and that girl's hot. So I'll keep watching the show, but it actually is very well written. It is slow. It's slow, but it is very well written. So, let's see here. Yeah, it picks up after. I'm about to say it starts slow, but you gotta get, because they're setting up stuff. You know, they're setting up characters. Oh, I got a super chat. Shout out to NV Dub. At the end of the day, these ponies are just mad because their ammunition is slowly being taken away from them. Exactly. Yeah, you gotta, when you're 100% correct there, Dub. Shout out to Dub. You're right. They don't have anything else to talk about. Okay, they don't. They're again, Sony's not doing day and date with their single player games. That's what was important to some. Some people are like, well, how come we don't have the games as a service? They don't like that direction. Okay, fair enough. But that's what they're doing. And they're making 25 games, and the majority of them are still going to be, and they're making VR games. You know, I mean, I just don't, you know, at this point, the fanboys are dumbasses. Like I said, you know, they don't know the difference between farting and chewing. But, it is what it is. You know, they're stupid. You're not. You guys are not that stupid. You all understand it's a business, and I don't know what it's like to sit up there, like I said before, build a channel, this case a YouTube channel, on console warring, and then not accepting that when Microsoft stopped giving out the amount of consoles that they sell, that was the end of the console war. But these guys would not accept it. They just had to keep on and on and on. And there were women too. It's not just guys. There were gals too. So now you got people saying the stupid shit they said. Decima engine not working on PC. I'll do anything that I can to prevent Sony from putting games on PC. It was just stupid stuff like, who? I mean, these are what fanboys were saying. All right? Because again, they didn't want Sony. Let's just take a game that's out right now that nobody is on, that PlayStation put out. The Lost Legacy stuff. Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4. That game has been out this year since January. So we're coming up on 1 year, right? The game, the game eventually is going to get moved to Plus to be downloaded, and then it'll go to PC. And everything it makes on PC will be profit because it's just sitting there not making no money. You know, it's stupid at this point. You know. Ghostface says, meanwhile, Xbox still has no games. I know. They charge people $250 for a bunch of 30 FPS games. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. How many platinum? Yeah, they. How many platinum trophies does it take to stop? Well, apparently they don't have enough. Like, I told Persona that getting trophies don't make a goddamn lick of sense. It didn't stop him, did it? But look. It doesn't matter how many trophies you have. And if you think your trophy count matters, you a bitch ass. I said it then and I'll say it now. It doesn't matter. But congratulations on getting your platinum trophy. Oh man, that's pretty. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the Tootsie Roll commercial. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Oh man, think the cross-gen games need to stop? I think that's a fair statement. until we actually saw like Gran Turismo and MLB The Show and Forbidden West. All those games are cross-gen and are cross-platform, and they're still great games. Spider-Man, cross-gen, looks great, runs great. I mean, again, I understand where your opinion is coming from, and it's legitimate. But we got a lot more information now. We can kind of say, yeah, that almost doesn't really matter. And again, it's not going to be every game. It is going to be a case-by-case basis. And again, it doesn't matter what the fanboys say. The fanboys can say, well, they're going to put all the games like that. They're not going to do that. We've got it from the horse's mouth. Now, if these fanboys decide I don't believe them, that's fine too. I don't. At this point, it doesn't matter what they think. Okay, we have information in front of us, and they can say, well, I don't believe it. That's all. They should just come out and say, I don't believe what they're saying. And that actually makes more sense to me. Just man up and say it, you know. So but again, they'll be bitching and moaning about it later on, I'm sure. So yeah, I think in order for the PS5 to do well, they have to diversify, and that's what they think too. And that's what I've been putting out for the last year and a half. Like, hey, look, they no longer care about it's not that they don't care about the selling of the console, it's just not their most important measurement anymore. It still matters. All right, it's just like I don't know. Take the Cincinnati Bengals, and Jamar Chase is being double teamed every game for the entire game. The one time the Bengals, I was watching the Dolphins game. The one time the Dolphins didn't double team Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow threw the ball to him and he caught it for like 30 something yards, something like that. So, but my point is that the Bengals have to find a way to win games without throwing the ball to Jamar Chase 10 to 15 times. You know, it's because he's double covered, and Sony has to figure out a way to enter these other markets. So that's what they're doing. They want to get into the Chinese market, so they go into business with Kodakawa, who is in business with Tencent, and now you have a way into China. So they want to go into mobile gaming. Sony makes cell phones, right? People keep forgetting that. Sony makes cell phones. So they want to put games on cell phones. They want to provide these developers who make cell phone games another avenue, another platform to make money. And Sony wants to partner with them. So again, all this makes sense to me personally, but to a fanboy, it doesn't make sense. All they want to say is you need to just keep doing what you're doing. So we'll talk about the NBA like this. All right. The Cleveland Cavalier fans did not understand why LeBron James left Cleveland, because he was doing to the Chicago Bulls what Michael Jordan had did to Cleveland for all those years. They didn't care about the championships. They wanted the Bulls to suffer. And LeBron James is like, well, in order for me to win a championship, which is going to help my career, I need to go somewhere else and play with better players. That's what he did. And so the fans in Cleveland were booing and hissing and crying. I mean, you all saw it, you know, and, you know, that's what happened when he went to Miami. You know, that was a business decision. Pat Riley taught LeBron James how to win in this league. He's like, LeBron, the team expects you to stay in shape and not get fat and put all these expectations on you. So you have the right to expect that team to go out and spend money to make the team better. That's how you win championships, right? And you know, even Golden State, it's hard to believe Golden State won the championship this past year. They only won like 19 games a couple years ago. It's hard to believe that, right? It is hard to believe they only won like 19 or 20 games. It was something weird. You know, Steph Curry was out. Thompson was out. They were all out. You know, they ended up getting like the top draft, didn't they? they had like 2 top 5 drafts, on their team, and that's because they stunk. They stunk. So, and but they put things in place to get better, and that's what Sony's got to do. Like any business, and those teams, those NBA teams, are all multi-billion-dollar businesses that operate within the NBA. So Sony's got to do the same thing. The gamers understand that. If I want to play a mobile game, which I don't, then I'll have to get a tablet or something like that. All right, fine. Sony may put some games on there that are interesting, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. But the problem is that with the fanboys, and this is with any group of fanboys, is that they believe what they think is what the majority thinks, and they are the minority of the minority. And there are more gamers out there than there are fanboys. And they think, well, I platinum my games and I play them more. That just means you got more time on your hand. I'd rather be getting some pussy than try to platinum a game. But that doesn't mean that it's just 2 different things. Most people aren't going to platinum games. That's why when you get certain trophies, it'll say only 10% have this, only 15% have this, because most people don't go for that. But the fanboys do. The DC fanboys told us that Justice League was going to be the greatest movie of all time. It was going to make the Avengers look like kiddie play. And then the Justice League came out and it bombed, and those guys shut up. All right? We all thought Mass Effect Andromeda was going to be, as Mass Effect fans, we thought Mass Effect Andromeda was going to be the next great game. It wasn't. It wasn't. So, and these fanboys think that everybody is like them, and they're not. They're not going to sit around and complain about what the company is doing. I understand I understand if you have stock in the company. Like, these guys talk like they've got hundreds of shares of stock in Sony, and they don't have shit. So I understand if they have stock, but they're complaining about something they can't control. Well, I just don't like Sony doing this. Okay, you've made your point. Shut up. All right. You can either, as a consumer, get rid of your PlayStation, which is fine. All right. But they're not going to do that. Like I said, they don't have the balls to do that. So they're just going to sit around and complain. So the question is, are you going to keep listening to them or not? And again, it's okay to be wary. It's okay to say, hey, I don't like the direction something's going in. But if all you're going to do is observe and complain, and you're not going to put foot in the ass, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining? It makes no sense to me personally. I'm sure Sony had these conversations, looked at the numbers. I'm sure they did too. See, that's the whole thing. It is the fanboys believe they know more than the company. They don't know nothing. They don't even know how the technology works. They don't. They don't understand how their technology works. So, yeah, explain to me how 3D audio works. You see, you put the headphone on, and then you plug it in, and then it just starts to work. No, explain to me how it works auditorial with my ear. It's silence after that point. So, it's silence. So only 10% of Sony gamers can influence Jim Ryan's business. No, they got their own. Look, the businesses are the businesses. They're $1 billion business because they got good strategies. Okay? Microsoft, Facebook, Google, trillion-dollar companies, because they know what they're doing. Okay? What's the difference in $1 billion company and $1 trillion company? $1 billion company is a $1 trillion company creates something. $1 billion company helps accent it. So Microsoft created the Windows platform. All right, now they bought it from somebody. They bought MS-DOS that they converted to Windows. So, and Windows is the dominant operating system right now on planet Earth. It doesn't mean that Apple has their own operating system, and so does Linux, and it all works. But Windows is the dominant platform. Just like Android has phones and Apple has phones, Android is the dominant phone on planet Earth. But Apple still makes their phone. So it's crazy. So yeah, Jim Ryan does not notice my platinums at all. Like I have none, but because I know it doesn't matter, and it doesn't. They're not watching me say, "Man, when is he gonna platinum this game?" They're not watching, So I mean, the trophies are nice, but they don't mean nothing. Okay, but I give them credit. Didn't they create an avenue for people to trade in or convert their trophies to currency? So good for those guys, good for them. So they don't copy off Xbox notes. So far the answer. Well, I mean, again, Sony tried to go into mobile and all that kind of stuff back in 2016, 17, and it didn't work out for them. So, but now they're in Azure. They're a client of Azure. So they've got the cloud thing. Microsoft has to maintain Azure. Sony doesn't have to maintain nothing. So they're like, okay, we can spend our time trying to do these conversions, which they're trying to do, which is fine. So they don't, did that one. Let's see here. You sure? Yeah, did that. All right, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Activision Microsoft deal shows that Sony needs to diversify games. Yeah, they do. I mean, the Activision does have a diverse set of games. I mean, Diablo is nothing like Call of Duty and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Sony's going to have to do some things differently in the future, which again, they're reacting the way I would react too. If you're going to pull something off my platform that's been there 20 years, yeah, I would be pissed the F off too. So, and yes, I understand Jim Ryan saying 3 years is not sufficient. That I hate. Look, again, Phil Spencer coming out saying we offered them 3 years. I thought that was unprofessional of Phil Spencer. But, and I said this, Jim Ryan coming out saying when the CMA said we're going to move this deal into phase 2, all right? Jim Ryan coming out saying something like, good, I'm glad they're doing it. That was just as unprofessional. So like I said before, Sony doesn't use Azure in gaming. They use, they left AWS. I don't think they use AWS anymore. Nothing wrong with AWS, but they went to Azure. You were told platinums and achievements give you the right to bitch and act like an expert on YouTube and demand action. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to argue with that. If somebody gave you that kind of authority, I will no longer argue with you on that. All right, we'll look it up here. Sony using does PlayStation use Azure Cloud? They're using, they're using it for PS Now. Happened in 2019. Despite being fierce competitors, Sony and Microsoft are teaming up for a game streaming deal. As per the report, Sony is expected to use Microsoft's Azure to host its upcoming game streaming service, PlayStation Now. So that's what they're using. That's, let's see here. Let me, that down. We'll put it on the screen for you. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Is PlayStation using? You said AWS. Let's see here. No. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Sony Interactive Entertainment redefines on multiplayer only. Maybe they use both. See here, using opportunity on generational leap from PS4 to PS5. Sony, I just went down. Imagine this online multiplayer ecosystem. Well, they may be using both. Sony Interactive Entertainment shares how it reinvented its legacy architecture and uses. It does say they use both, huh? Uses Amazon Web Service to ensure highly scalable availability, flexibility to meeting challenging gaming. Oh, that is different. Let me see. Or Azure. Let's see here. It says Sony uses AWS for PlayStation Network, but increased coziness with Microsoft might change that. So, but it says they're using both. This PlayStation Network run on AWS. And then it says what cloud service do they use? And the cloud server, blah 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 blah. Host. No, it really is ambiguous. The weirdest thing. It's actually pretty ambiguous here. When it comes to PlayStation Now, why it says here they chose Azure despite Xbox being their competitor when they could have chosen AWS or Google Cloud. They might move to Google Cloud with all this crap going on right now. So let's see here. Well, like I said, Azaza, they might be using both, but I do have to go because I have to pee. So, well, it literally says for PlayStation Now they use Azure, but PlayStation Now is part of the overall network. They combine the two services. So, we'll try to find that out though, get a more accurate information. So, but I do have to go. I have to pee. Like I've been wanting to go for a little bit. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good, safe weekend. I'm not gonna be able to do my college pick. Well, let's do some college picks here. Look at the college thing real fast. It's for fun only. Let's see here. Betting. There we go. Let's see what we could get here. Go to my site. Nebraska, Rutgers. Says Nebraska -3. I'm actually inclined to take Nebraska just straight up. Houston versus Memphis. I would take Memphis straight up in that game. Let's see here. But I would also take the under. The over is 56 or 58. I would probably take the under on that. This is Michigan State and I'm sorry, Colorado State, and I don't even know who those things are right there. UNLV +6.5. I would take that. I need this. Hold on. I need better. Hold on. I mean, that was terrible. Let's see here. Let me go. We're gonna go to this here. We're gonna find out who's actually playing. The hell. All right, here we go. Oh, these games are tonight. Damn. Yeah. Well, I would bet one game tonight. Nebraska, Rutgers. I would take. Let me see what Rutgers is about here. Because they're 3-2. Nebraska's terrible. I would take Nebraska to cover the 3 though. I would move to Saturday, Michigan, Indiana. Take Michigan all day on that. Take that to the bank. Tennessee at LSU. That is a huge game. That is at noon. Tennessee should win that game. I would take Tennessee minus the points. TCU and Kansas. That is the game day game. I would take TCU. TCU's played in that game 100 times. Arkansas and Mississippi State. I would take Mississippi State minus the points. Missouri at Florida. Take Florida straight up. Ooh, Texas and Oklahoma. Wow. I would stay away from that game. I'll be at work. I won't even be able to watch that game. So let's go for UCLA and Utah. Take Utah plus the points. Let's see here. Let's give us a easy. Okay, Ohio State and Michigan State. Take Ohio State. So that right there make you a little bit of money or if you want to. Now, this is for entertainment purposes only. So, but let's see how we do. So that's 6 games here. Let's see how we do on that one. Let's see how we do. So, let's see how you do on those. It's for entertainment purposes only. All right, but I gotta go, guys. I've held it way the hell too long, and you all have to go. Remember, the fanboys have taken an L, and we can finally rest in peace. Peace.